Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to see how we can create a pricing card using HTML and CSS. So if you are new to this channel and you're interested in learning the basics of HTML, CSS and JavaScript, you are in the right place. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any upload so we can learn together. Now let's get right into it. In the HTML document, we already have this boilerplate for a standard HTML5 document. So we come into the title and change it to pricing plan. Then we add a link to the CSS file. And that's all we need to get started. Now in the body element, we first create an outside container with the class name of pricing container. And it will be a div section. Now first we start with the basic plan. We'll have a div section with the class name of plan card. And inside this plan card, we also have another div section with the class name of plan header. In this plan header, we first have an h2 element with an inner text of basic. And when you refresh, it appears over here. Then still in the plan header, we have a p element with some inner text. Now we move outside the plan header, and then we have another div section with the class name of plan price. This will hold the price for our plan, our basic plan. Inside this plan price div, we have a span with some inner text and a p element also. That's it for the plan price. Now we move outside, and still in the plan card, we have a button with an inner text of add to cart. Then we'll have our last item, which will be an unordered list with the class name of plan features. And we'll have list items, each with some inner text. And this will be it for the basic plan. Now we'll copy and paste this an additional time for the standard plan. We'll copy the whole plan card, and then we change the inner text to fit the standard plan. That's it for the standard plan. So again, we'll copy this and edit it for the last plan, which will be the premium plan. And this will be it for the HTML of our project. Now in the CSS file, let's add some styles. So the first thing we'll do is to reset some global properties like the margin, set it to 0, the padding also, and the box sizing, set it to border box. to remove all the margin and pattern set by default. Now let's start the body. So give the body a black background, and the color of the text should be white. Set the minimum height of the body, and set the display to flex. Turn it into a flex box. Set the justify content to center, and we add a pattern of 20 pixels. Now we style the pricing container, which is the main container holding all the other cards. So with the pricing container class name, change the font family. And make the background transparent. I'll turn it into a flex box also. And make sure the flex direction is column. Because we want to go with the mobile first design. We are designing for when the screen is a mobile screen, like a mobile phone. And then we add media query so we can design for larger screen sizes. We add a gap of 30 pixels between the cards and also add a pattern of 20 pixels. And let's start the plant card itself. For the plant card class name, we add a border, 2 pixels solid, and a neon color. Set the border radius 10 pixels to rounding the corner. Set the width and height. And you turn it also into a flex box, setting the display to flex and the flex direction also to column. Then we add a gap. Now let's set the align items to center. And then set the text align also to center, so that everything can be in the center as we can see. Now we add a padding of 25 pixels and the background of the card, change it to a different shade of black. Now with our plant card, when you hover over it, we use the hover pseudo class, we add a box shadow, and then the same green color we used. Then we make it move to the top a bit by setting the transform to translate in the Y direction by negative 20 pixels. Because normally a positive translate Y value will move it to the bottom. So using a negative, make sure it moves to the top. Then you come back in the plant card and add a transition of 0.3 seconds. So we can have a smooth transition between the properties. Now we style the H2 element and the P element in the plant header. So with the plant header class name, first we start the H2 element. So make the text color the same green color. Then we increase the size. Then we add a margin to it for all sides. Next, we start the P element. As a matter of fact, we start both this P element and the P element below over here. So we just use the P element name and set the font size to 1.2 em. This way, we don't need to repeat code. Now let's style the span element in the plan price. So with the plan price class name, select any span elements and increase the font size. And the color, we also set it to this color here. And add a margin, 10 pixels. Next, we start a button. Select any buttons and then increase the width and the font size, and also set the font width to bold, to bolding the text. And we add a pattern for both sides, the vertical and the horizontal, and then remove the border. Then you make sure the background matches the green color. Now when you hover over it, you want a cursor, a pointer, just as we see. Next, you add some properties for when we hover over the button. So we set the transform to scale by 1.1. That is, it will increase in size. And also when we click on it, so we use the active pseudo class. When you click on it, we decrease the size, just as we see over here. Then we add a transition of 0.3 seconds so we can have a smooth transition, just as we see. Next, we start an unordered list with a class name of plan features. So you first remove the list style here, the bulletin. So set the list style to none. And you increase the font size of the list items to 1.2 em. Then we add a check mark over here. So with my plan features, any list items, we target the before pseudo element and make sure the content is set to the check mark. So if you're using a Windows laptop, you just need to press on the Windows key and the period character and then search for the check mark over here and click on it. And it appears over here. Now change the color to match the green color. And then set the margin right to 10 pixels so there can be space between the check mark and the text or the list items. Now the last thing we want to do is to add some media queries so that when we move to larger screen sizes like a desktop screen, we can make it responsive. So we add a media query. When the minimum width of the screen is 768 pixels. And this will target all screen sizes above 768. So for tablet screens, for laptop screens, for desktop screens, and for even television screens, what do we do? So first select the pricing container. And we can see that the flex direction is set to column, so we set it to row. So that when we get to larger screens like this, our items can be placed in a horizontal manner. We set the flex wrap property to wrap, and this will make it responsive for all screen sizes. As you can see, when we move to tablet screens, we can have two cards placing side by side. But when it can accommodate three, the next card also moves. So we get to a screen size that cannot accommodate all the three planned cards. Then one will shift to the bottom, move to the next line, and in that order. And we can see that when we get to this screen size, we want to place this in the center. So we set the justify content to center. So we can see it is placed in the direct center here. Then we add a gap of 30 pixels to it. Also, we add a padding of 40 pixels. And you make sure the maximum width of the whole thing in larger screens is 1200 pixels so that our plan cards cannot stretch or will not stretch. Then we add a margin, 0 for the vertical and auto for the horizontal, just as we see over here. Now let's test if our code works. So we can see that it works perfectly. So yeah, that's how to create a simple pricing card with HTML and CSS. I hope this video helped you out. And if it did, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel. I'll see you in the next tutorial.